Emergency fund. How much you really need and the fastest way to build it from scratch. Imagine this. It's a random Tuesday morning. You're driving to work, coffee in hand, music playing, and out of nowhere, your check engine light comes on. You pull into the nearest mechanic. The verdict? A $1,400 repair bill. Or picture this. You wake up one morning and your employer calls you into a meeting. 20 minutes later, you're walking out of the building with a box of your belongings and no paycheck coming next Friday. Or this one, a medical emergency lands you in the hospital for 2 days. You have insurance, but after the deductible and copays, you're still staring at a $2,800 bill. Now, here's the question that determines everything. Are you prepared for any of these situations? If the answer is no, if any one of these events would completely derail your finances and send you straight into debt, then this video is the most important one you'll watch this year. Today, we are talking about the emergency fund, the single most important financial tool you can build before you do anything else with your money. I'm going to show you exactly how much you need, exactly where to keep it, and the fastest strategies to build it from scratch, even if you're starting with absolutely nothing. Stay with me. This one could save your financial life.
Welcome back to Wealth Undistracted, the channel where we make personal finance simple, practical, and actually useful for real life. This is video 3 in our financial planning roadmap, and the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. I'd highly recommend going back and watching those first. The links are in the description below. Now, let's talk about emergency funds.
What is an emergency fund and why it changes everything? Let me start with a recent Federal Reserve survey. Nearly 40% of Americans cannot cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing money or selling something. $400. That's not a major financial crisis. That's a car repair, a medical copay, a broken appliance, and nearly half of all Americans cannot handle it without going into debt. Let that sink in for a moment. This is the reality of living without an emergency fund, and it's a reality that keeps millions of people trapped in a cycle they can never fully escape, because every time life throws something unexpected at them, they go deeper into debt, and that debt eats away at their income, and that reduced income makes saving harder, and the cycle continues. The emergency fund is the circuit breaker that stops this cycle. So what exactly is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a dedicated pool of money set aside specifically and exclusively for genuine, unexpected financial emergencies. It is not your vacation fund. It is not your Christmas shopping fund. It is not the money you dip into when you see a great deal on a TV. It is your financial shock absorber, the buffer between you and the inevitable unexpected events that life throws at everyone.
Why is it the first financial priority? Here's why financial experts almost universally agree that building an emergency fund should come before investing, before aggressive debt payoff, and before almost everything else. Without an emergency fund, your entire financial plan is one bad day away from collapse. Think about it this way. Imagine you've just started investing $400 a month into your Roth IRA. You're excited, you're building wealth, life is good. Then your transmission blows out. $2,200 repair bill. Without an emergency fund, what do? You pull money out of your investments, potentially triggering taxes and penalties, or you put it on a credit card at 22% interest, or you take out a personal loan. Any of those options sets you back significantly, financially and psychologically. But with a fully funded emergency fund, you write the check, you move on. Your investments keep compounding. Your debt stays at zero. Your financial plan stays completely intact. The emergency fund is the foundation that makes everything else possible. The true cost of not having one. Let's put real numbers to this. Say you have a $3,000 emergency, a realistic number for a major car repair or a medical bill, and no emergency fund. Option A, credit card at 22% interest. If you put $3,000 on a credit card and pay $150 a month, it
It takes you 24 months to pay it off and costs you over $580 in interest alone. Option B, personal loan at 15% interest. $3,000 personal loan over 2 years equals total repayment of roughly $3,490. You paid $490 extra for not being prepared. Option C, emergency fund. You pay $3,000. Done. $0 in interest, $0 in fees, zero impact on your credit score, zero disruption to your financial plan. The cost of not having an emergency fund is not just financial stress. It is real, compounding, wealth-destroying money paid to banks and lenders every single time life doesn't go according to plan. And life never goes entirely according to plan. How much do you actually need? Okay, so we agree the emergency fund is essential. Now the question everyone wants answered. How much do I actually need? The standard recommendation from virtually every financial expert is 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Notice I said living expenses, not income. There's an important difference. Your income is what you earn. Your living expenses are what you actually need to survive. Rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance, and minimum debt payments. You're not trying to replace your full paycheck. You're trying to cover your essential costs while you deal with the emergency. Calculating your emergency fund target. Step 1. Add up your essential monthly expenses. Expense, example amount. Rent or mortgage, $1,400. Groceries, $350. Utilities plus internet, $180. Transportation, $300. Insurance, health, auto, $250. Minimum debt payments, $200. Phone, $80. Total monthly essentials, $2,760.
Step 2. Multiply by your target months. 3-month emergency fund, $2,760 times 3 equals $8,280. 6-month emergency fund, $2,760 times 6 equals $16,560. That is your specific emergency fund target based on your actual life costs. So, should you save 3 months or 6 months? This is the question I get asked most often about emergency funds, and the answer depends on your personal situation. You should target 3 months if you have a stable, secure job with a reliable employer, you have a dual income household, 2 people earning, you have very low fixed expenses, you have family nearby who could help in a genuine crisis, you have no dependents relying on your income. You should target 6 months if you are self-employed or have freelance variable income, you work in an industry with high job instability, you are the sole income earner supporting a family, you have dependents, children, elderly parents, you have significant health concerns or chronic conditions, you live in a high cost of living area where finding new work takes longer.
General rule of thumb, if losing your income tomorrow would be catastrophic, save 6 months. If you have a strong safety net and stable employment, 3 months is a solid start. And if you're just starting out and those numbers feel overwhelming, don't panic. We're going to talk about exactly how to get there in a few minutes. The Baby Emergency Fund, your first milestone. Personal finance expert Dave Ramsey popularized the concept of the Baby Emergency Fund, and it's brilliant in its simplicity. Before you worry about 3 to 6 months, set your first target at just $1,000. Why $1,000? Because $1,000 covers the majority of common minor emergencies. Most car repairs, a medical copay or urgent care visit, a home appliance repair, a sudden travel expense for a family emergency, an unexpected utility bill. Having just $1,000 sitting in a separate account completely changes your financial psychology. You stop living in constant low-level financial anxiety. You stop reaching for the credit card the moment something goes wrong. $1,000 is your first milestone. Hit that first, then build toward the full 3 to 6 months.
Real dollar targets by income level. Let me give you specific targets based on common monthly expense levels across the US, Canada, and UK. Monthly expenses, 3-month target, 6-month target. $2,000 per month, $6,000, $12,000. $2,800 per month, $8,400, $16,800. $3,500 per month, $10,500, $21,000. $4,500 per month, $13,500, $27,000. $6,000 per month, $18,000, $36,000. Find your row. That is your target. Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it.
Where to keep your emergency fund? The next question is, where do you actually keep this money? This question matters more than most people realize, and the answer is very specific. Your emergency fund should not be in your regular checking account, too easy to accidentally spend, under your mattress, not earning anything and not safe, in the stock market, too volatile, could lose value right when you need it most, in a CD or fixed-term account, too hard to access quickly in a real emergency, in crypto, far too unpredictable and volatile. Your emergency fund should be in a high-yield savings account, and here's exactly why. High-yield savings accounts, HYSA, explained. A high-yield savings account works exactly like a regular savings account, but with one massive difference: the interest rate. A standard savings account at a traditional big bank like Chase or Bank of America currently pays around 0.01% to 0.1% interest annually. That means if you have $10,000 saved, a traditional savings account earns you about $10 per year. That's essentially nothing. A high-yield savings account at an online bank currently pays anywhere from 4% to 5.5% annually, sometimes even higher depending on the interest rate environment. That same $10,000 in a high-yield savings account earning 4.5% earns you $450 per year, completely passively, with zero risk, fully FDIC insured. Your emergency fund is literally growing while it waits to be used. That is the power of keeping it in the right place.
Best high-yield savings accounts in 2026. For U.S. residents, Ally Bank, consistently competitive rates, no minimum balance, excellent mobile app. Marcus by Goldman Sachs UK, strong rates, no fees, very user-friendly. SoFi, high rates especially when you set up direct deposit. Discover Online Savings, solid rates, great customer service. Fidelity Cash Management, great option if you already use Fidelity for investing. For Canadian residents, EQ Bank, consistently one of the highest savings rates in Canada. Oaken Financial, strong rates, CDIC insured. Tangerine, user-friendly, competitive promotional rates. For UK residents, Marcus by Goldman Sachs UK Limited, excellent easy access savings rates. Chase UK, competitive rates with a great app. Monzo, instant access savings with solid rates. The 2 requirements for your emergency fund account. Requirement 1, it must be easily accessible. You need to be able to get to this money within 1 to 2 business days. A true financial emergency cannot wait a week. Most HYSA accounts allow transfers to your checking account within 1 to 3 days, which is perfect. Requirement 2, it must be separate from your everyday accounts. This is psychological as much as practical.
If your emergency fund sits in the same account as your spending money, you will spend it. Having it in a completely separate account, ideally at a different bank, creates a mental barrier that protects it. Out of sight, out of mind, and earning interest while it waits. How to build your emergency fund fast. Okay, now the part everyone has been waiting for. How do you actually build this thing, especially if money is tight? Here is the truth. Building an emergency fund on a tight budget is hard. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but it is absolutely possible, and the strategies I'm about to share have helped people build their first $1,000 emergency fund in as little as 60 to 90 days. Let's go through them. Strategy 1, the automatic transfer method. This is the most powerful strategy on this entire list, and the simplest. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your high-yield savings account on the same day your paycheck hits every month. Even if it's just $50 or $100 a month, automate it. Make it happen before you have a chance to spend the money on anything else. Here's the math on small automatic transfers. Monthly auto transfer, time to $1,000, time to $6,000, $50 a month, 20 months, 10 years, $100 a month, 10 months, 5 years, $200 a month, 5 months, 2.5 years, $300 a month, 3.3 months, 20 months, $500 a month, 2 months, 12 months. The more you can automate, the faster you get there. Start with whatever you can afford today and increase the amount every time your income grows or your expenses decrease. Strategy 2, the spending audit. Go through your last 30 days of bank and credit card statements right now. Look for subscriptions you forgot you had. The average American pays for 4 to 5 subscriptions they rarely use. Canceling just 3 unused subscriptions could free up $40 to $60 a month. Dining out frequency. Most people dramatically underestimate how much they spend on food outside the home. Even cutting 1 restaurant meal per week saves $40 to $80 a month. Impulse purchases. Online shopping, late-night purchases, things bought on sale that you didn't actually need. Duplicate services, paying for both Spotify and Apple Music, 2 gym memberships, multiple cloud storage services. The average person who does a thorough spending audit finds $150 to $300 a month that can be redirected immediately, with almost no impact on their quality of life. That $200 a month redirected to your emergency fund builds your first $1,000 in just 5 months. Strategy 3, the windfall rule. Every time you receive unexpected or irregular money, commit to sending a significant portion straight to your emergency fund before it gets absorbed into your regular spending. Windfalls to look out for. Tax refund. The average U.S. tax refund is over $3,000. Work bonus or overtime pay. Birthday or holiday cash gifts. Selling unused items. Furniture, clothes, electronics, collectibles. Cashback rewards from credit cards. Side hustle income. Inheritance or financial gifts. The rule is simple. The moment a windfall arrives, immediately transfer at least 50% to your emergency fund before you have a chance to mentally spend it on something else. A single average tax refund of $3,000 with 50% going to savings gets you to your $1,000 baby emergency fund in one transfer and makes a serious dent in your full 3-month target.
Strategy 4, the temporary side hustle. If your regular income simply doesn't leave room for meaningful savings, a temporary side hustle specifically dedicated to building your emergency fund can dramatically accelerate the timeline. Side hustles that can generate $300 to $1,000 extra per month, freelancing in your professional skills, writing, design, coding, accounting, driving for Uber or Lyft on weekends, delivering for DoorDash, Instacart, or Amazon Flex, selling items on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, or Craigslist, tutoring or teaching a skill online, pet sitting or dog walking through Rover, task-based work on TaskRabbit. The key is to treat this as temporary and purposeful. You're not building a second career. You're building your financial safety net as fast as possible. Once the emergency fund is fully funded, you can stop or redirect that income to investing. Rocket Strategy 5, the No-Spend Challenge. Commit to 1 no-spend month or even a no-spend week to start. The rules are simple. Pay all essential bills and necessities, buy groceries, but cook every single meal at home. 0 dining out, 0 entertainment spending, 0 impulse purchases. Cancel any non-essential subscriptions for the month. Find free activities for entertainment. Most people who complete a genuine no-spend month save between $300 and $800 compared to their typical spending, money that goes directly into the emergency fund. It's uncomfortable for about the first week. Then it becomes a game, and the satisfaction of watching your emergency fund grow rapidly makes it completely worth it. Rocket Strategy 6, stack multiple strategies. The fastest way to build your emergency fund is to combine multiple strategies simultaneously. Example, building $1,000 in 60 days. Spending audit savings redirected, $200 per month to $400 in 2 months. Temporary side hustle, $300 per month to $600 in 2 months. Total after 60 days, $1,000, check. Example, building $6,000 in 12 months. Automatic transfer, $200 per month
to $2,400. Tax refund, 50%, $1,500. Side hustle, $200 per month to $2,400. No spend month savings, $500. Total after 12 months, $6,800. Check. Stack the strategies, compress the timeline, get it done.
What counts as a real emergency? This section might be the most important one in this entire video, because having an emergency fund only works if you protect it for actual emergencies. I cannot tell you how many people build their emergency fund with great discipline and then drain it on something that was absolutely not an emergency. So let's be crystal clear. Real emergencies. Yes, use your fund. Job loss, covering essential living expenses while you find new work. Medical emergency, unexpected hospital bills, urgent procedures, emergency prescriptions. Major car repair, if your car is required to get to work and the repair is urgent. Critical home repair, burst pipe, broken heating in winter, electrical failure. Family emergency, last-minute travel for a genuine family crisis. Sudden loss of income, business failure, unexpected disability. Not emergencies. No, do not use your fund. Sales and deals, a 50% off sale is not an emergency. Vacation, no matter how much you need a break, this is not an emergency. New phone upgrade, your current phone still works. Holiday gifts, you knew Christmas was coming. Plan for it with a sinking fund. Concert tickets or events, a want, not an emergency. Non-urgent car maintenance, you had warning. Plan for it. Impulse purchases of any kind. Replenishing after use. Here's something most people don't think about. What to do after you use your emergency fund. The answer is simple. The moment the emergency is resolved, you immediately redirect your savings effort back to rebuilding the fund to its full target amount. Treat the replenishment with the same urgency you felt when building it the first time, because until it's fully restored, you're financially vulnerable again. Your emergency fund is not a one-time build. It's a permanent fixture of your financial life that you maintain, protect, and replenish as needed for the rest of your life. Emergency fund mistakes to avoid. Before we wrap up, let's quickly cover the 5 biggest emergency fund mistakes so you can avoid them from day one. Mistake 1. Keeping it in your regular checking account. If your emergency fund lives in the same account as your spending money, it will get spent. Full stop. Keep it separate. Keep it at a different bank if possible. Mistake 2. Investing your emergency fund. Your emergency fund is not an investment. Do not put it in the stock market, crypto, or any volatile asset. The whole point is that it's there when you need it, at full value, immediately accessible. A market crash the same week you lose your job would be catastrophic if your emergency fund was invested. Mistake 3. Setting it and forgetting it forever. Your emergency fund target should grow as your life changes. If you get married, have children, buy a house, or take on more financial responsibility, your monthly expenses increase. Revisit your emergency fund target annually and adjust accordingly. Mistake 4. Using it for non-emergencies and not replenishing. Using your emergency fund for a vacation or a shopping splurge is bad enough, but using it and then not replenishing it is even worse, because now you're left vulnerable with a false sense of security. If you use it, rebuild it immediately. Mistake 5. Waiting until you're out of debt to start. Many people think they should pay off all their debt before building an emergency fund. This is a trap. Without at least a baby $1,000 emergency fund, every unexpected expense during your debt payoff journey goes straight back onto your credit card, undoing your progress. Build the baby $1,000 emergency fund first, then attack debt, then build the full 3 to 6 months. This is the sequence that works. Your action plan? Here is your complete emergency fund action plan, starting today. Step 1. Calculate your monthly essential expenses. Add up rent, groceries, utilities, transport, insurance, and minimum debt payments. Step 2. Multiply by 3 and by 6. Those are your minimum and ideal emergency fund targets. Write both numbers down. Step 3. Set your first milestone at $1,000. That is your immediate goal. Step 4. Open a high-yield savings account today if you don't already have one. Ally, Marcus, or SoFi are great starting points in the US. Step 5. Set up an automatic transfer for whatever amount you can manage, even $50, on your next payday. Step 6. Do a spending audit this week. Find at least $100 to $200 a month to redirect to your emergency fund. Step 7. Commit your next windfall.
tax refund, bonus, or side hustle income to the emergency fund until it's fully funded. Step 8. Once funded, protect it. Only use it for genuine emergencies. Replenish it immediately after any use.
I want to leave you with one final thought. The emergency fund is not exciting. It doesn't make you rich. It doesn't have the glamour of investing or the satisfaction of paying off debt. But it is the single most important financial tool you can build, because it is the one thing that protects everything else. Every financial plan you build, every investment you make, every debt you pay off, all of it is more secure, more sustainable, and more successful when it sits on the foundation of a fully funded emergency fund. Think of it as the financial peace of mind that money can actually buy. 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting in a high-yield savings account, earning interest, waiting patiently, ready for whatever life throws at you. That is not just financial security. That is freedom. If this video helped you, please hit the thumbs up button. It takes 1 second, and it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is your emergency fund target number? Calculate it right now using the method we covered and drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And subscribe if you haven't already, because next week we are going deep on debt management, the snowball versus avalanche method, which one saves you the most money, and the exact step-by-step plan to become completely debt-free. You do not want to miss that one. Until then, build the fund, protect the fund, and let it protect you. See you in the next video.